Greetings, I would like to demonstrate an application that I aim to implement. My goal is to promote my email newsletter on social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter. I want to promote the fact that people are subscribing to my email list. The more subscribers that join my landing pages, the more I can promote this on social media. This strategy showcases social proof that others are signing up, which may incentivize more people to subscribe. Of course, the promotions should mention why people are signing up and the value they receive from the lead magnet/free gift offered for subscribing. To automate this process, I want to share visual images in addition to text, as images tend to perform well. I created a template using Switchboard to generate the images dynamically. The template allows me to update the images and text to create new iterations of the image. The template contains 10 face images and 10 text fields. The text fields will contain the names/pseudonyms of new subscribers. For the face images, I plan to use Gravatar. Gravatar allows you to associate an image with your email address that will then display across sites that utilize Gravatar. For email addresses without an assigned Gravatar image, I will use a default face image instead. Since my landing pages only collect email addresses, not first names, I will use the left side of the email address as the pseudonym in the image and text, for instance John Doe for johndoe@gmail.com. Here is an overview of the automation workflow. 1. In my email autoresponder, systemio.com, I configured a workflow to call a webhook for each new subscriber. 2. The webhook triggers a workflow in Pabbly Connect. This workflow adds the new subscriber's info to a Google Sheet, including email address, pseudonym, and Gravatar image URL. 3. A separate scheduled workflow in Pabbly Connect checks the Google Sheet every 6 hours for at least 10 new rows. If there are 10 plus new subscribers, it will pull the info for the 10 newest subscribers. Delete those rows in the sheet. Generate an image using the template and data. Post the image on social media, Facebook, Twitter. Wait a randomized length of time between posts. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'm happy to clarify any part of the workflows. To generate the Gravatar URL from the email address, I need to create an MD5 hash of the email address. This hashes the address while keeping it anonymous, as the hash cannot be reversed to the original email address. Spammers could otherwise scrape Gravatar image URLs to obtain email addresses. I specify the size for the Gravatar images as 256px² to match the template. For email addresses without a Gravatar linked, I call a script that returns a random face image from my collection of people faces. I generate a random number to include in the URL to avoid caching issues, or Gravatar would return the same default image repeatedly. In the Pabbly Connect workflow, the initial webhook trigger receives the new subscriber's email address. I trim any white space, convert to lowercase, and generate the MD5 hash. Then I extract the left side of the email before the @ symbol to use as the pseudonym. I generate a random number for selecting the default face image if needed. Then I construct the full Gravatar URL with the parameters for size, default image, and MD5 hash. The final step saves the subscriber data to the Google Sheet. The separate scheduled workflow first checks if there are at least 10 new rows in the sheet. If not, it stops. If yes, it pulls the 10 newest rows, deletes those rows in the sheet, and continues. It populates the image template with the Gravatar URLs and pseudonyms from the rows. I use a random abstract art image for the background. It generates a text snippet announcing the new subscribers and linking to the landing page. This text is translated into both French and English. To avoid overwhelming social media streams, it waits a randomized delay between 5 to 60 minutes before posting. It iterates through posting to different Facebook groups, Twitter, etc. Let me know if you need any clarification or have additional questions. It's important to understand how deleting rows in Google Sheets works. When I delete rows 2 through 11, row 12 then becomes row 2, and so on. The rows are shifted up to fill the gap. This means row 2 will always contain data, even after deleting those rows. If instead I cleared the cell values within rows 2 to 11 without deleting the rows themselves, then row 2 would be empty. By deleting the row entries entirely, the rows are removed and the data slides up to fill the void. This allows the system to continuously populate row 2 with the next new subscriber, delete rows 2 to 11 to process that batch, and repeat indefinitely. If there are 15 rows, it will grab the 10 oldest, process and promote them, deleting those rows and leaving the 5 newest for the next cycle. So in summary, one workflow handles injecting subscriber data into the sheet, while the scheduled workflow checks for batches to process, generates/posts promotions, and clears those rows. The email autoresponder triggers the initial workflow on each new sign-up. You could adapt this for your own email list and promotions. The core concepts are: webhook from email system to workflow tool like Zapier. Inject subscriber data into a sheet. Scheduled workflow checks for batches, generates/posts promotions, clears rows. Sheet structure remains constant as rows shift up when deleted. Let me know if you need any clarification or have additional questions. As you can see in the video, the system is actively functional and populating the sheet with new subscriber rows as they sign up. This demonstrates the overall automation workflow in action. While I was explaining, new rows were added to the sheet. The goal here is not to 100% accurately showcase only the 10 latest subscribers, but rather to promote general activity and engagement with the email list. Seeing new people signing up each batch gives the impression of momentum and interest. This prompts visitors to think something valuable is being offered if others are actively subscribing, so they should check it out too. Driving further subscriptions is the end goal. The flexibility is there to modify the parameters if needed. If I suddenly received 100 new subscribers per day, I could increase the workflow frequency to process smaller batches but clear the backlog quicker. Or I could increase the batch size promoted while keeping the social posts focused on a subset. So in summary, this shows an end-to-end automation workflow combining multiple platforms to promote an email list and generate social proof. Please let me know if you need any clarification or have additional questions on implementing a similar automated promotion system. The main goals of this project are to automate promoting an email list on social media, create a perception of momentum and social proof that people are actively signing up, drive further subscriptions by showcasing this activity. The technical components involve email autoresponder webhook to workflow tool. Workflow injects subscriber data into Google Sheet. Separate scheduled workflow checks for batches, generates and posts promotions using subscriber info and templates. Deletes processed rows so sheet structure remains constant. The parameters can be adapted as needed based on subscription volume. The focus is on creating general social proof rather than showcasing every individual new subscriber. Please let me know if you would like me to expand on any part of the summary above or if you have any other questions. I'm happy to clarify or provide additional details on any aspect of this automation workflow.